If you find yourself bored of the same licks that you play over and over, you don't like the way you sound, you're definitely not alone. As guitar players, we struggle with this day to day. I know I definitely do. And that's why I'm going to show you 5 licks that will open up some different ideas in your rock playing. So the tabs of these licks, as well as the tab to the full intro solo that you just heard, as well as the isolated videos, almost like a playthrough style of video, is available on my Patreon page. There's a 7-day free trial happening at the moment. The link's in the description if you want to come and join us. Let's jump into the first lick. Alright, so we're in the key of E minor today. This first lick is kind of like a 3-note per string pentatonic idea with some interesting note groupings. It's all pentatonic except for one note, which we'll get to in a second. Let's jump straight into it. So we're going to start in box position number 1. We all know this. This is the first part of the lick. Right, that's a group of 5. There's that major 9 or that major second that we're adding to the scale. That's what that sounds like again. So it's kind of like an E minor 9 arpeggio. We're going root note, minor 3rd, 5th, flat 7, and then hitting the 9. Group of 5 there, and then we're going to do a group of 6, I think. We're going to go to the perfect 5th, which is 14th fret of the A string. Go to the flat 7, go to the 9 again, perfect 4th, right? Then to the perfect 5th, and then stretch all the way up to the root note. Right, group of 6 there. So far we've got this. Right, so a group of 5 and then a group of 6. So after that root note, we're then going to go back to the perfect 4th, which is 14th fret on the G string. Then we're going to go up to the 5th. Big stretch the root note. This is sort of like that 3-note per string pentatonic thing. Right, then we're going to hit the root note again, but on the E string. I like this sort of repeated note sound. I think it sounds cool. Right? You can hammer on if you want. And then we're going to reach up to the 17th fret of the E string, which is the perfect 4th. And then we're going to sort of almost like an enclosure into the minor 3rd. Right? So that's also a group of 5. So we've got a group of 5 notes at the start. Then we go back and do a group of 6. Then we go back and do a group of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we land on the minor 3rd. So all together that sounds like this. Right, it's pretty cool. There's some stretchy stuff in there. I like the doubled up note, that double up root note there. Sounds really, really interesting. Sort of perks the ear up, I think, especially with those odd note groupings as well as the 6-note grouping there. Now you can incorporate some hybrid picking. It's up to you. You can also pick it. It's not super, super fast, so you should be able to get it happening. What's cool about this idea is that you can shift it up sort of like one position higher. You could imagine 3-note per string sort of major scale shape. Check this out. Right, and I'm just going to apply that same sort of interval structure and note grouping as the lick that I just showed you. Check it out. Right, so you've got some really nice ideas there that are transferable across the fretboard. Those licks will also be tabbed out on my Patreon page for the members there. All right, let's move on to the second lick. So there's a sequence that we can repeat all over the fretboard here. That's why I like this lick. It really is transferable and some cool ideas can happen. There's sort of 2 parts to this lick. So let's jump into the first part. It's really, really straightforward. We're just alternating with sort of like a pedal tone or a common tone, which is going to be the perfect 5th. And then we're going to hit the root note and then go back to that common tone or that pedal tone or whatever you want to call it. Then go to the major 9, back, and then the minor third, right? And then we just repeat that. So we're doing that twice. So after we do that sequence twice, I shift it up to the 15th fret B, and we're going to take that same idea where we've got 3 notes on top. I'll show you those 3 notes. It's going to be G, A, and B, which is minor third, perfect fourth, and then the 5th. And then we're going to be returning to the flat 7 of E minor. Right? Now in the example here, the chord actually changes to a G major chord, and that's sort of why I've gone up to this position, because that really highlights that G major. We're sort of playing some chord tones and playing around that chord. It sounds really, really cool, but we're going to do that twice. And then we're going to hit the 15th fret of the B string again, right? And then we're going to play the second half of the lick, which I'll go through in a sec, but this is what we've got so far. Right, that's the first half, or what I think of as the first half. And then we're going to play this nice descending lick. 2 groups of 4. I've got, 19th fret of the high E. Just descending down the E natural minor scale. Then going to the 17th fret E, which is an A note, which is the perfect fourth of E. Descending down. Skipping the root note, we're sort of doing an enclosure here. We're going to go to the flat 7, which is 15th fret of the B, and then land on the root note of E. That last part finishes it off nicely from the first 2 sort of ideas. Check this out. This is the whole lick. You can do some pull-offs, you can pick it all, it's totally up to you, but that idea is really, really cool. It is transferable across the fretboard, depending on what key you're in and what ideas you want to come up with. That kind of thing, right? Really, really nice ideas there. That's the whole idea. Get more bang for your buck out of these licks. Don't just copy it note for note. Really, really get creative with it. Let's move on to the third lick. Okay, this lick is nothing new. It's a really, really nice idea. You've probably heard it before. It's sort of classic rock, sort of 80s era. But what's really, really awesome about it is that you can use it nicely over the E minor chord, the G chord in this progression, or the D chord, and you can spell out some nice chord tones and nice colors over those chords. That's why I really, really like it. You can also get endless amounts of variations on it without sort of, expanding too much energy, right? You can really, really get some cool ideas. Let's jump into it. Okay, so the concept is that we're playing a 2-octave idea. I'm just going to go through the notes in relation to E minor. That's our home key. So I'm hitting the minor third first, then I'm going to the 9th or the 2nd, and I'm going to bend up a full, a semitone, and then release it, right? That first part. Then I'm going to go to the D note, which is 15th fret of the B string, the flat 7. Then to the perfect fourth, which is A. Right, this is what we've got so far. Really, really classic. And then we're going to do the same sort of idea where we're bending from the, it's an F sharp note, which is the 9th or the major 2nd, up a semitone, release, and then play those same intervals an octave below us. So that's going to be the flat 7, which is D, and then A, which is the perfect fourth, and then you can finish it with a root note, right, to resolve it. Right, so there's some really interesting ideas to experiment here. You can really mess with the rhythm. In the lick, I'm playing just strict sort of 8th notes, but you can really, really mess with it. You can do a triplet thing, that kind of thing. You can change the rhythm as you go along. You could go to the octave below. That kind of thing can be really, really cool. So experiment with it. Experiment with the way that it sounds over the different chords in the chord progression too. Let's jump into lick 4. Now you can play this over any chord in the chord progression. It's really, really fun. I would just suggest landing on a chord tone to resolve it. You can even keep going down the fretboard just play with it. But the main idea is this. We're starting on the minor third. We're then going to go to the root note, flat 7, back to the root note, slide down 1 semitone. Right, that's the major 7th interval. Go to the flat 7, perfect 5th, perfect 4th. That's the first sort of part, the first sequence. Then that same idea repeats, that same sort of sequence or interval structure repeats, but starting on the flat 7, pulling off, perfect 4th, back up, sliding down, that's the blues note, perfect 4th, minor 3rd, and then in the example I did flat 7 and then root note to resolve it. So this is the whole lick. Really cool, right? Really, really cool, right? Those pull-offs really, really help get it up to speed. All right, let's jump into the last lick. I love this idea. I stole this from John Petrucci. I'm not sure where he got it from. It's really quite a simple idea. We're playing the same idea in different octaves. Let's go through the notes. So we're going to start with the root note, 7th fret of the A string. Go to the 9th fret, which is F sharp. That's the major 2nd, minor 3rd, and then the 5th. That's the interval structure that we're going to be playing throughout the lick. We then just start on the 9th fret G, which is our E note, and play the same intervals, root note, 2nd, minor 3rd, and then the 5th, right? Because of the way the guitar is tuned, it's a slightly different, fretting, fingering, whatever you want to call it, slightly different fingering. So you're just going to have to adjust, and then we go to the root note, major 2nd, and then the minor 3rd, right? So far it's this. And in the lick, I then go back to the root note and then bend up from the 17th fret, a full tone. And then you can release, pull off, and then I land on the 17th fret of the E string. I'm trying to follow the chords in the chord progression, so that's also an underlying theme throughout. Really, really important. So here's the full lick. Sounds really cool, right? Okay, so what's really cool is that you can take that same idea around the fretboard and play it over different chords. Let's take it in G major. We're going to start on G, go up to the major 2nd, then the major 3rd, then go to the perfect 5th, and then just do that same interval structure, right? And then you can finish on the root note up here. Right, really, really nice ideas. You can take it from here. So those ideas work really, really well. Take it in a different key. Let's do it in B minor. Right? So really try and take these licks to the next level by expanding your knowledge on the fretboard, but using the same idea. It's really, really a copy and paste into other keys and other parts of the fretboard. It's really, really good for your playing and opens up to way more ideas than just one lick. That's the whole idea. So as I said before, the tab to these licks plus the extra little bits that you heard, as well as the full intro solo, the tab to the full intro solo is available on my Patreon page, as well as all the other lesson content. There's a 7-day free trial happening at the moment. There's a link in the description if you want to come and join us. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all that kind of stuff. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.